Well, the amazing thing is, I'm not sure I know a conservative writer where, for whom Buckley was not an influence in some way or another. I mean, first, he was one of the great writers of our generation, and I remember reading his column collections, just trying to find out, what style means. But I think, second, I think it's important that he was a controversialist, but he was not a cynic. He, his writing always served his greatest loves, his family, his faith, his beloved country. He was not. He was he could be playful, but he was not cynical. He was a real believer.
Everyone has talked about the way he and his National Review brought conservatives together, but you also praise his purges. Who did he read out of the movement?
Well, before conservatism could become credible and united, it had to become respectable and responsible. And through National Review and a lot of the writers there, he really read the crackpots out of the movement. John Birchers, who thought that Eisenhower was a communist, and followers of Ayn Rand, who were utopian, anti-government sort of anarchists who believed that altruism was a crime, and anti-Semites that had really plagued the right in America for a long time. And he made clear that they're not part of the mainstream, and I think it made conservatism a viable political force in America.
What are the lessons he leaves for today's conservatives who seem to be dividing again into so many hostile or at least distant camps?
Well, actually, I think that first of all, he was not always an optimist. He had a tragic sense of life, I think, which was essential to conservatism, but he was always cheerful. And I think it's a fact that a dour conservatism is not going to inspire or persuade. He could also be a street fighter. He once threatened to punch Gore Vidal on national television, but he also had a kind of civility and manners about him that I think it's fair to say that a civil conservatism is also more persuasive than an angry one. So these, I think, are still very, very important messages.
Well, and do you see any likely conservative heir apparent in conservative media or politics today?
Well, it's a little bit like coming after Thomas Jefferson. I mean, he had so many talents in so many different areas: television, writing, his lifestyle, his appeal. That I think several people are going to take this role. People, writers like Bill Kristol and David Brooks. New media